I want to talk about Ashton Forbes, somebody who I just recently became aware of. And I saw it because I know who Dr. Stephen Greer is, who is a UFO guy, been doing it for 30 years, formerly an emergency room doctor, and gave all that up 30 years ago to do what he's doing now, which is to try to get full disclosure from our government about UFOs,
right?
Or UAP, as they like to call it now. They like to, confuse the issue by changing up the acronyms all the time. Anyway, so Ashton Forbes, after I watched over the last couple of days, probably 5 or 6 hours of his stuff, I became aware of him. Dr. Stephen Greer did one of his podcasts with Ashton as his guest. So that's how I became aware of it. And then I realized he's got his own YouTube channel, and he's got lots of shorts and reels out there, especially on Facebook. And I just watched a bunch of those, and I just going, who is this guy? Because he knows a lot of stuff. And it's not about aliens.
Yeah.
Not really.
Right.
In fact, he's been quoted as saying aliens are fake and gay.
Okay.
No, it's about technology.
Yeah.
It's about the technologies that are being hidden from us that would change the world.
Yeah.
That we have been in basically a technological standstill for decades. And, of course, the UFO thing we've been completely in the dark about for going on 80 years now, since Roswell. Roswell was in 1947, and we're looking at 27, so about 80 years. We're a couple of years away from that. So, which is crazy when you think about it, absolutely crazy. And a lot is happening right now in that regard. Congressional hearings, fantastic podcast. I don't know if you watch Weaponized and all that. Of course, I don't think Ashton Forbes likes Jeremy Corbell too much, but they all have different concepts of what this is all about.
Right.
And as far as Stephen Greer is concerned, it's about the aliens. It's about the technology at the same time, because he says that most of what we're seeing, the phenomena in the skies that we are seeing, is man-made.
Right.
And that we have had the secrets to both anti-gravitic technology and zero-point energy, two things which would it would be the Jetsons right now. Do you know who the Jetsons are?
Oh,
okay. I don't
know. Oh, yeah.
I have to ask. It would be the Jetsons right now. We're talking all about flying cars, unlimited free energy, no more hunger, no more poverty in the world. If these technologies were just given to us, because they have that, but you know what? Do you know why we don't have it? Because they've weaponized it. Yeah. Because these are now weapons trying to, it's a national security issue. We have it, and other countries do not have it. We have it. They don't have it. Yeah. And now they know we have it. And one of the reasons they know we have it is because of something that happened a while ago. An entire jet airliner vanished in thin air. And a lot of people would tell me, oh, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Well, I believe it did.
Right.
And I believe that these small pieces of wreckage that have washed up on shores, I believe that was faked. I believe that serial numbers were put on these things, and dropped in the ocean to wash up places to be found, because they desperately want to hide the truth of what really happened to that airliner. And all we need to know, I think, to know that these things are real, that teleportation is real, that black holes are real, that portals are real, that space-time is currently being manipulated by technology that we currently have.
Right.
When you stop thinking about time as a linear thing, and you stop thinking about space as being empty, then it opens the door to all this other technology and capabilities and possibilities. The fact that we have a Trump administrator who is on record saying anything you can imagine, anything that you've seen in Star Trek, we already have it.
Right.
We can already do it. And who was it who said, we have the technology, this was several years ago, we already have the technology to send ET back home. Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is, and I'm gonna bring this up.
Please do.
This is nothing new. There was a guy not too long ago, who blew the whistle on all of this and everything, that we had the propulsion systems and everything.
Yes.
It was Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar, yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, and
Very familiar with Bobby.
yeah,
Bobby.
the one thing that I was always like, okay, this has got all the credibility to me, because I'm not sold on Ashton yet. There's some stuff I've looked at other professors that are like, okay, he's kind of, but the one thing that sold me on Bob Lazar was he was always talking about this element 115,
Right.
and everybody would deny this ever existed.
Yeah.
But if you look at our periodic table now,
Yeah, it's on there.
element 115 exists
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, they actually threw a cyclonic collider thing. They actually recreated it, and it lasted for like a blip of a second.
Yeah.
And before it evaporated or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, as far as introducing my folks here to Ashton Forbes, is play a couple of videos. Let's get this set up for you here. I'm going to go to here, and let's do this one first. Now, what you're about to see, let's put this up on the screen. What you're about to see here is two different videos of the same event. These two videos have been synchronized so as that everything happens at the same time. The one on the left is, do you see the green areas?
Yeah.
That's from the wing of a Reaper drone, and the body of, on the left, the body of a Reaper drone. This is taken from a wing-mounted camera on a Reaper drone, okay? And the other one, the black and white one on the right, was posited to be a satellite footage for a while. But as you'll hear, Ashton Forbes has uncovered, it's actually another drone.
Right.
So think about this. This airplane vanished in midair over the ocean, and the United States had two Reaper drones focused on it. Why?
Yeah.
Why? I guess they wanted some record to be able to show people like China and Russia, look what we got. Look what we can do. All right? Now, what you're going to see, for those of you who haven't seen this before, you're going to see an airplane. Now, this is two styles. I believe one is infrared, and the other one is some sort of heat signature thing that it isn't infrared. It's different. It's different technology. But I believe the one on the right is the infrared. But anyway, here we go. Now, there's no sound to this. There's the airliner. Now, you see these move. Now, this is very important. You're going to see the pictures move. As the airliner moves, you're going to see the picture move.
Right.
This is because this is being screen recorded by a man in the military. He is screen recording. Somebody who had clearance to be able to view this, screen recorded it, and then put it out there.
Right.
He's now serving an 8-year prison term. Now, why would that be if this wasn't something they desperately wanted to punish him for?
Right.
Right? Okay. So, no, very important to remember that a lot of people don't know this. This plane was on fire and needed an emergency landing. Lithium battery had exploded. A lot of people think this was planted too, that this was meant to happen.
Right.
There were 4 people on this plane. There were 239, I think, on the plane. They all vanished, all gone. But there were 4 of them on the plane who were defecting to China with secrets.
Right.
Which doesn't give our CAA the right to disappear this plane.
No.
And along with all those people. But it would give them impetus to do that. And as we know, they were unscrupulous, and they will do anything like that to keep their secrets.
Right.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The whole Vietnam War was based on that. And how many died? How many American soldiers? Over 50,000 American soldiers died in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
All right. So keep watching now. On the left, you can see the plane. Now, this plane, let me say this too also. These images were taken from above the plane. These Reaper drones are flying at about 20,000 feet, and the airplane at this point was about 4,000 feet and going down. Mm-hmm. Okay? And, okay, now you see it on the left. This is the same, this is completely synchronized. Now, look, there's something circling the plane. Now there's 2 things circling the plane. Now there are 3 things circling the plane. And now they're triangulating. All right? They're flying around the plane. These are anti-gravitic orbs flying around the plane, circling the plane, setting up something. They're setting up some event. And here it comes. Bam. And the plane is gone. Now, okay, now we spoke about this earlier today, and you said, "Hey, look, here's the corridor crew guys. They've got a forensic video guy, and they've debunked it. Oh, they've totally debunked it." But if you look further, they debunked the debunker. I mean, well, Ashton Forbes debunked the debunker in what I thought was totally legitimate video. Now, what we're going to watch. And I apologize to the viewers for this, but I think it's very, very important that you watch this. This is going to be like 10 minutes long, but you need to watch it because it really, really gives you an idea of who Ashton Forbes is. Bear with us, please. It's 12 minutes long. Hang in there. Or, just fast forward and listen to our discussion afterwards.
These videos, one was earlier believed to be from a satellite, another from a U.S. military drone. Now we know that the one wasn't from a satellite. They're both from U.S. military drones, correct?
Yeah, and so if we want to play the first video,
this is Ashton Forbes, by the way.
Satellite Video Airliner and UFOs. It was the first one to leak on May 19th, 2014. So roughly 8 weeks after the plane disappeared, but it says in the description, received March 12th, 2014, which is only 4 days after the plane disappeared.
Wow.
So we'll play the videos. If you're not watching and you're listening, I would encourage you to come back and watch, although we'll still try to walk you through it. So explain what we're seeing here.
Initially, we thought this was a satellite video because it looks like we're watching this airplane from really far away. The thing that was the major breakthrough was realizing this is wide area motion imagery, WAMI. So WAMI, wide area motion imagery, is actually made to look like satellite video. That's why it looks like satellite video. So what it is, though, is there's a drone, and this is called Gorgon Stare, the version that we're looking at here, Gorgon Stare Increment 2. There's an MQ-9 Reaper drone above the plane, much higher above the plane. This plane is flying very low. We can tell because of these clouds on the screen. These clouds are cumulus clouds. That's the ocean underneath as well. This is a very low flying plane, and this drone is probably around 20,000 feet above it. Okay. And it's got cameras underneath the wings of it, Gorgon Stare cameras looking down. And what these drones do is they fly around in a hexagon pattern, and then they take these photos all the time. And this is beaming to, and you see in the bottom left corner, it says NROL 22. It's kind of cut off in this version. It says NROL 22. It's beaming to that satellite, and then that satellite's relaying that information to ground-based computers where they take these photos and they convert it into what we're seeing here, which is wide area motion imagery. That's why you see this jerky motion. It's only 6 frames per second. The plane kind of looks like it's jerking a little bit. Because when they were putting this technology together, it was slow initially. And in fact, this is why we know this is iteration 2. The first iteration of Gorgon Stare, there was all these complaints about it around 2010 to 2012. It was the frame rate was too low. You couldn't track people. You couldn't do anything like that. What they did was they upgraded it with something called Argus. Argus cameras upgraded it into Increment 2. This was the last publicly available version, and it was announced around the exact same time these videos leaked. So this here is a drone filming above it, and we can even see the coordinates there. So what's happening here is that if you watch their Argus videos, you guys can see online, if you Google Argus, it's a huge field of view. So this drone is actually mapping like about a 100 square kilometer area of the ocean. And someone can interact with it, and they can press on the screen, and it pulls up a window. We are looking at one of those windows. So somebody has popped open a window and they're watching the plane, tracking the plane on this huge battle map.
Of all the commercial aircraft, and
they could see anything in that 100 square kilometer view. And so then here they can just zoom in on it and they can replay this. This isn't just live. It's pre-recorded. They can rewind if they want to. That's why you see this mouse cursor come on the screen. And notice at the end there, when the mouse cursor goes off the screen, what they're doing is they're taking this window they have on their screen and they're just going and they're closing the window. And it's still recording for a brief second there.
So tell us what happens when we see, we're seeing a energy orb come in, right?
So I would call these hypersonic plasma orbs.
And there's one comes in.
Because this is essentially, they've created a drone here. They've taken the hypersonic turbojet engines and they've turned it into a heat exchange.
And there's 3.
Yeah, and the orbs lock in, and they're using magnetism to lock in like this. So why can they create a perfect triangle like that? Because it's magnet inversion, positive and minus magnetic or electromagnetic charge, and it creates an equilibrium, and they're just locking into a certain equilibrium. So how would you pull something like this off? Well, you would use some kind of fly-by-wire advanced, almost AI computer-based system for flight navigation. And then they spin around the plane, and then they go into this vertical orientation. Why did they flip to this vertical orientation? There's actually a lot of clues to be gained there from a scientific perspective. Like why, if you're spinning around the plane, you got 3 orbs spinning around the plane, why would you choose a specific way to spin around them? Because you can spin in 360 degrees. It doesn't matter. You can spin however you want. They're doing that because they're telling us where this plane is going. If this was just a missile, like a lot of people say, they think this is an annihilation event. If this is annihilation, I would just shoot a missile at the thing and it's gonna blow up. Why this whole, like, look at this dance and watch when this first orb locks into the plane. When the first orb locks into the plane, it almost like it doesn't lock in right away. There's like one orb spin around the plane, but the other 2 orbs, as they lock in, they know exactly where they're going. They're locking in directly into their triangle formation. That tells me that this is like some kind of homing weapon where, like, okay, you're painting the target, you've got the first orb locked in, and now they're all locked in, and now they're, doing their program, their dance to spin around the plane. And it must be I think, a teleportation protocol. Like now that the orbs are in this vertical formation, spinning around the plane, they're spinning counterclockwise around the plane. The plane just disappears. Now, this was the thing.
Flash. What's the flash?
And the flash, there's a flash of light, but that's actually not visible light, as we will find out when we watch the second video. But there's this flash of light. It turns out if you research wormholes, teleportation type stuff, you find that you expect there to be this flash of X-ray or soft X-ray or ultraviolet light. And those forms of light are not visible to the human eye. Now, this is going to be one of the hugest clues in the second video that what we're looking at is a real wormhole, real scientifically accurate one. Because we're going to look at a second video in a minute. And in the second video, we're going to see that flash is black. Means it's outside the thermal range of this color. And that would mean
it's not an explosion at all.
So yeah, it's not. It's more of like an implosion, right? It's an endothermic event. It's not a release of energy that we're seeing there, though we are seeing this release of this flash of photons. And that flash is actually probably the best evidence that that's a real video in 3 dimensions, because when that flash goes off, people have taken like you could change like the color scale on it. You can see it accurately illuminates the clouds. Like on the left side, you can see the clouds are accurately illuminated as if it's 3-dimensional lighting. And then in the foreground, you can see it only illuminates the part that would be, the light would be hitting. And that kind of level of detail is not something you see in, a standard hoax video or something like that. That means someone needed to create a 3-dimensional environment with point source 3D lighting to have accurate light, not just a glow effect or something like that either.
I learned an awful lot from that. I would not put it past our own people to do something like that.
Right.
Simply because, again, the secrets. The keeping of the secrets at all costs.
Right.
And that 200. I have yet to hear anybody tell me where the plane went.
Yeah, they still haven't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they still haven't found the plane. They say they have found wreckage and everything. Like, I have my own personal issues and everything with this and everything. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of his from what I've read and seen and everything. He's pulled a couple scams.
He's a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
However, he's intelligent. He's highly intelligent, and he's very, very well read, and he knows a lot about the technology that he's speaking of.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a couple of documentaries I found and everything, because sometimes people can sound intelligent and everything. They say a lot of big buzzwords and big words and everything, but they're just making buzzwords.
I'm wide open. I've only been on this guy's tail for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And everything I've seen has just been very, very interesting to me, coming from him. So I'm happy to explore even more about him, and I just would like to know what most people think about this. I mean, obviously, I'm going to get slammed for believing that we might be able to teleport people and things and this all anywhere in the known universe. I don't know.
Right.
I really don't know how it works. But if you don't think they're working on this stuff, I think you've got blinders on. And if you can somehow wrap your head around the concept that we've mastered the technology for, let's say, 60 to 70 years, and that it's only been growing and improving and reaching farther and farther and farther out there just in that time. So I believe that's absolutely possible.
Yeah. No, I believe it's definitely possible. I mean, you could go back, say, 50 years, and you could tell somebody, hey, one day there's going to be a dude that can sit on his couch in the United States and fly a plane over halfway across the world and kill somebody on the other side of the world. Do you believe me?
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We do it every day now.
Yeah, true.